Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Trash Panda and today I'll be going over some of the current issues with Hytale's building system. Not so much to harp on it or to complain, but more so just to let you know what current issues there are with building so you can avoid them. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so hopping right into the video, the first thing we're going to talk about is slabs. Some people think slabs don't stack, but that's not true. Stone slabs will stack, but wooden slabs won't for some reason. Also, when a slab is upside down, you can't place underneath it, you have to click on the actual slab itself. Um, so I would love to see a fix to wooden slabs as well as maybe the ability to place slabs on top of each other and fixing not being able to place on an upside down slab. Alright, next we have platforms. So for whatever reason, platforms don't break with an axe. Now this is kind of hard to show in creative because everything breaks instantly, but for whatever reason, the break tool for platforms is actually a pickaxe instead of an axe, even though it's made of wood. Alright, next up on the agenda we have fences. So fences are cool, but as you can see they're a lot different than in Minecraft. But even though they are directional, they don't connect with just two to create a corner piece. Instead, you actually have to add that third one. So it really should give this texture when connecting from a different angle. But also, the fences cannot connect in more than two directions. So I think that should be fixed. But there's also the problem of the way beams connect to fences. So on a corner piece, the corner piece has been put in the middle of the block, and so it lines up perfectly. But every other fence, it's offset because the beam on the fences aren't actually in the middle. So I don't know what the fix is for that, but I hope they do something to fix it. Next up, pillars. Pillars are really cool, and I'm super excited to see what more we can do with them in the game. However, it is kind of annoying that you cannot rotate sideways, and the pillar block doesn't rotate at all. So what I would love to see is the ability to turn that sideways, as that would open up a whole new range of possibilities for building. Alright, next up we have chandeliers. So chandeliers are a really cool option when it comes to lighting up your build. However, I do have a few problems with them. The first one being that you don't even get a graphic to place it down on a chain. And you do get a graphic for the beam, but it's red and it won't let you place it down. So I would like to see more options for connection points for this chandelier rather than requiring a full block in order to place it. My second gripe with the chandelier is that the chandelier is on an odd block set, whereas the tables, which to me is the most obvious place to use them, are on an even set. So there is no way to get your chandelier to evenly line up with your table. It's 2 blocks wide, or it's almost 2 blocks wide, but it's like hanging over the blocks around it by half a block rather than actually being a 2 block piece. Next up we have roofs. So Hytale does have some absolutely amazing options when it comes to roofs for your builds. However, their roofs are definitely meant for even builds. And so what happens if I want my build to be odd? In order to get my roofs to line up at the very end, it has to be even. There is no good one block that provides this level of angle. So what I would like to possibly see from Hytale, the Hytale devs, is a 1 block version that's essentially the top half of all of these blocks. Maybe not for the shallow one itself, but at least for this one right here, um, getting an actual like roof cone piece to finish off the roof sets. Next up, we have items and how they place. So obviously items place just fine on top of normal blocks. And I know this is a little nitpicky and this is more so a personal thing just so I can elevate my builds. But I wish you could place stuff onto half slabs, but you just can't. And then we have platforms and shelves. Now platforms essentially are a full block shelf. And so they can be very useful for using as a shelf, but they take up a little bit too much space. They're a little bit too obvious. Meanwhile, the shelf block, when you place down an item, it always places in the middle, and so the shelf block, which only takes up half a block, the item is hanging off by half. With a small item like this candle, it's not that big of a deal, but there are some bigger items where it's more obvious. So I wish that they would possibly do something to rectify that. There's only a few more things that I want to cover in this video, but one of those is bookshelves. So I love the bookshelves. I love all the different kinds of bookshelves. I love the fact that the books are 3D. But in order to place another bookshelf on top of an existing bookshelf, there has to be a block behind it. Otherwise, you can't place it down. And so that really limits what I can actually do with these bookshelves because I'm required to have this block behind it in order for it to function. Next up, we have branches. Now, I don't have too much to say about branches other than it's really hard to get an upside down branch when rotating. And that I wish these were harvestable or craftable in survival. Because currently I can't use them at all in my builds because I primarily build in survival. And these blocks right here would be absolutely amazing to incorporate into my builds, but they're just there's nothing you can do to actually get your hands on them unless they appear in a structure. Alright, the last thing we're going to talk about today are stairs. So, if I wanted to make a quick pyramid shape out of these stairs, it works just fine. But, if I do the same upside down, then it breaks. It will only two of the corners are actually in a corner state, and the other one is out like this. Now that's kind of frustrating because I was actually trying to use something similar to this in a build, and the stairs broke on me. So obviously it's not supposed to be like this, and I hope they fix this soon. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see me build this tavern behind me as well as everything else in this world, then be sure to stick around.